we always thought there was probably something wrong with Georgia, but everybody just put it down to like a slight delay. But as the years went on, we realised that she was quite a bit behind the other children. And when she got to between 4 and 5, we took her to a geneticist who felt that she probably did have Williams syndrome. And then after a blood test, she was diagnosed with Williams syndrome, which is a fairly rare genetic disorder which affects her physically and mentally. She's a very happy and loving child and very, very friendly, but she is behind her friends and her peers.
We go for walks together, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, and at the field we used to take our cameras to
Do you know ice skating?
And we go ice skating as well, don't we?
Yeah, I love ice skating. Me and Mummy went it 100 times, and Danny didn't even have a go on it.
And it's very isolating as well, because, I didn't want my friends and family to know, even though, I'd found what I thought Georgie had. I wanted to keep it to myself, and that can be really isolating. But what I've learnt now is it's not a weakness to ask for help, and that's probably where I started to pick up that I sort of found my strength in asking around and asking people to help, and with that I sort of became used to what she had in it and came more to terms with it. Don't think I'll ever come to terms with it completely, but I found it easier, whereas before I wanted to keep it to myself and only I wanted to cope with it, and I didn't want anybody else to know what she had.
Well, she's very friendly, and she's kind and caring and very loving. She's very good at taking care of people when they're ill, and she's very funny as well. She cheers you up when you're down.
And sometimes Sarah will get embarrassed if people come up and say in shops, is your daughter disabled? Does she want to sit down? Do you want to go in front of the queue? And whereas I think, yeah, let's get to the front of the queue.
I worry about her quite a lot. I mean, I'm constantly checking behind my back to see if she's still there. And if I'm swimming with my friends, I'd take Georgia. She wanted to go. And I'm constantly looking over to the other side of the pool or wherever she is to see whether she's all right or not. I'd usually invite one of her friends to come as well, but it's just sort of the case of, is she all right, and is she still there?
Well, she's always been to Haysford, which is a mainstream school, which she's always loved. I think she's always been an important part of the school. I think she has been a bit nurtured and a bit looked after, but I think in return it's done the other girls good to have a disabled child there as well. It reminds them that there are others that need to be looked after, and not everybody is the same. There are lots of disabilities around. I think she'll be sad when she leaves. She's all ready to go to the prom. She's got a dress and everything. I think she'll probably go on then to three-way sixth form, which she's not sure about, but all her friends are leaving as well. So, and she has struggled at mainstream. It has been difficult for her, but it's also done her good as well. It's a slice of real life, and that's the world she's going to be going out and facing, with a few dangers. And so I'm glad she went in a way. But I do think she's also brought something to the other children. That it did them good to have her amongst them. That they looked after her, but I think that sort of taught them a good lesson as well about caring and everything. Children are all different, aren't they? And all disabilities are different, and some of them are hidden and some of them aren't. Georgie's is an obvious disability, but I think it's a good reminder to children that some disabilities are hidden, and but they're all around, and they all needs to be inclusive, and it's all part of learning. I don't think Georgie would be such a happy, caring child if she hadn't been surrounded by the girls that helped her. Really, she's learnt from them.
My mum was always there for me. I get worried about having injections, and she takes me straight. She's with me when I go to the doctor, and she loves me very much. She's just a lovely sister, and she keeps an eye on me. And then sometimes if I get lost, she worries about me.
It's hard to imagine Georgie without her disability, because really what she's got sort of makes her. And I could quite often look at sort of other families and think, oh, I wonder what Georgie would have been like as a 15, 16-year-old without the syndrome. But really the Williams syndrome makes Georgie, because it makes that friendly personality and the caring and the laughing and the person who she is. I was once asked if I had a magic wand whether I would wave it over Georgie and to take away her disability, and I could honestly say I don't think I could, because what Georgie's got makes her, and so to take that disability away from her would almost be to take Georgie away, really. And I think probably Sarah feels the same, that she's grown up with Georgie and she is unique in her own way. Although she has a lot of difficulties, she still is Sarah's older sister and is a lot more confident than Sarah and a lot more friendly. And I think Sarah sees that she still probably will always be a grown-up sister, but there's some things that she just will need that little bit more help with. So they have quite a complex relationship, really. At times Sarah's got to really look after her, but at other times Georgie looks after Sarah.
Probably going to be there for her for the rest of my life. I mean, I wouldn't want to lose her, so, because I love her very much, and I know she loves me as much as I love her. So it's sort of quite a strong sister relationship.
I just would want her to be happy, I suppose. I know that sounds a bit cliched, but really that's all I want, because she is quite a happy child, and you know, that's all I would wish for her, really. I mean, I don't think massively into the future with Georgie, whereas Sarah I might see a hole. With Georgie I tend to take it sort of more sort of month by month, only because, you know, it's a worrying time to think of their future. So, but if I had to think, I really would like Georgie to be happy, and I'd quite like her to be able to be married maybe, and I'm sure she'd like to have a family. So loved and cared for and happy, I think I'd like to see Georgie.